Okay, guys. So what we've been working on is we're simulating cam motion. So everybody needs to open up activity 417. All right. And if you scroll down to number 1 here, we're going to use this right here. So we'll click the automata box. It'll open up this site. What you need to do is first make sure that you're logged in. All right. Log in, and then you should be able to make a copy after that. All right, so you'll make a copy, and when you do, just change that word copy to your last name. All right, so we have PLTW IED 417 simulating cam motion POTS. So we've been working with cams and designing some to create the different motions, but now we're going to look at using a 3D model here so we can accurately see that cam motion. So what I want to do is up here, I'm going to insert, and we can get our different cams here. I'm going to grab this eccentric cam. So I'm just going to click, bring it over here, click again, get my check mark. Okay. I'm going to stand this one up. So I'm going to grab this little arc here and turn it 90 degrees. That way it lines up with everything nice and easy. So we want this thing to be locked on to this axle right here. So I'm going to grab my fasten mate, move my screen around, and I'm going to make sure that this little bit here is over that circle here. Okay, it's on this face, it's on that circle. So when I click there, we're good. My front view. I've highlighted the entire crankshaft, and then I'm just going to slide down till I'm right there. Now, those lined up. So I'm going to come around here to the right view. If you look, the cam is sitting right here, but we want it to slide over and be under this shaft. So I'm going to do an offset. Now, if you look, depending on how you've clicked those circles, you can get this Z-axis going in 2 directions. If it's going off to the right, that means that's the direction our cam will slide. Mine's going off to the left, so I can either click that, now it's going off to the right, or put it in as a negative direction. So I'm going to put in -1, moves it right here, not quite where I want it. So I'm going to try -2, still not quite right. Maybe -1.5. Not it, and it's actually going to be 1.25. So you just kind of mess around until you get it to where you want it. If you're not happy with that right there, it's still a little bit further right. Maybe you adjust it to 1.2. Okay. Just keep messing with it until you get it exactly where you want it. All right, that looks perfect to me. So once I have it in place, I'm going to hit the check mark. It's going to solve. I'm going to move that up a little bit. Just click it and drag. And the next thing we want is we want these 2 things to touch. So in order to get that, I've got all of these different mates, but I'm going to use the tangent mate. Okay. So when I do the tangent mate, the first thing I want to do is select this edge right here. Now, make sure you notice what is actually being highlighted there. That's the part I want. If I do this, that's too much. I don't want all of that. That's saying this face, we're going to make it tangent with that. But I just want this line because that represents this whole bottom curve. Okay. Once I've selected that line, I'm going to go back to the right view. And I'm going to put my mouse here. And you see how the entire cam is highlighted. That's what I want. So when I look at them, now they're touching. So what that does for me is if I rotate right there, you can see the follower is just going to stay on that cam, and I've created this movement. Okay, so then we'll insert a second one. Let's do the heart cam. All right, so I'm going to do a fasten mate. I want to take the center of that hole right there, come around to this front view. click that center. Okay, well, didn't want to do that. So I'm going to click offset. On the right view so I can see them lined up. So again, I'm going to be in the negative direction. So negative, and these are an inch apart. So it's going to be negative 2 point, I did 2.2. Yeah, so that lines up beautifully. I've got that where I want it, hit my check mark, and now I want to do the fasten or tangent mate. Select that, go to my front view. Okay, now it doesn't highlight the entire side, but if I click that, once I click, now it gets that entire side. So from an isometric view, we can watch as now we can see how the different cams are creating these different motions. Okay, so go through and get the other cams put into place. And what we're going to do after that is we're going to create an animation. So every time I'm grabbing this right here, everything's kind of attached. There's a fasten mate that's got that axle to that. This is on a revolute. So it spins, that axle's locked in. These cams are locked to that axle, and these will always be tangent to that cam. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to this crank revolute, right click on it, and I get this menu. We want to do an animation, and we want this to be a loop. Okay, so if I hit that, all right, now it's going to continuously create this motion, and we can see how those will act together. It's a little slow for me. Now these steps, it's like how many times we're going to break. It's going to take a little snapshot in 360. If I set it to 2, it'll take a snapshot here, here, and it'll just be those 2 points on the cam. I'm going to set it to 150. Hit play. Now it's going quite a bit faster. This is kind of a good tempo, but you should have all 4 cams on there. And I want you to do a screen recording, just like you would a picture, except at the bottom, you'll turn it to camera. Make sure you do your recording. Make sure your name's in the top corner so I can see everything. And then wherever your menu is across the bottom, you'll click that to be able to stop your recording. So just give me a 3-4 second video of your cams working. Okay. When we get that done, what we're going to do is we're going to create a cam that we can use. So I'm going to create document. We're going to call it an ellipse cam. So I'm going to create, before we create a sketch, we want to set some parameters like we did the other day. So hit my configuration panel, configure variable. We're going to call this the nom diameter. And these are just, I'm using the restrictions we put on the other day, and that's going to be 2 inches. Okay, now it's down here at the bottom, another variable. Axle diameter, it's going to be 0.25. Okay, add one more, and this is going to be THK 0.25. So there's our parameters. Now let's create a sketch. So over here, the circle, I'm going to hit the drop down arrow to get an ellipse. All right, I'm going to put it in the center. I'm going to click here and there. I don't care what size it is at the moment because we're going to set our dimensions. So I'm going to click the ellipse and drag straight up. Yeah. All right, and we're going to change this to the nominal diameter. So once I hit NOM, that pops up, hit enter a second time, and it's just set that dimension to 2. So click the circumference again, drag out to the left. We're going to again, nominal diameter. I'm going to hit enter one time, but now I want to divide that by 2. Hit enter again. So now it sets that it'll always be half of that length. So last thing, I want to change this back to a center point circle. All right, change that right there. That is our axle diameter. Okay, when we're finished with that sketch, do a quick extrude. Depth is THK, the parameter we just set. And now we've got an ellipse cam. So I'm just going to right click it, edit appearance for part one. And now you guys can go ahead and select a color for it. Okay, so we've got a gold ellipse. I'm going to go back up here to Onshape, open back up my cam in motion, and I'm going to insert from other documents my Onshape, and I'm just going to grab that ellipse cam that I was just working on. Create a version. Yes, create. So here I can change that size based off these parameters I just placed. Okay, so if you want to make it bigger, you can change that to a 3, but I'm just going to bring it in. All right, and do my fasten mate, do my tangent mate, and then I want you to record another video with your new ellipse cam put in place. Okay, and submit that video on to Schoology or grade. Okay, and that is all we have for today. Have a good one.